How beginner-friendly is Final Fantasy XIV? A question that is probably in a lot of people's mind right now, as Final Fantasy XIV is coming to Xbox, and the announcement to increase the free trial all the way to the second expansion, Stormblood, which will most definitely attract a lot of new players to come and try out Final Fantasy XIV. Well, for them, the short answer is it is very beginner-friendly. So if you're someone who has never tried Final Fantasy XIV, thinking about trying it out, you are wondering how beginner friendly is Final Fantasy XIV, there's your answer. So stop worrying and jump right in the world of Eorzea and enjoy the journey, my friend. But if you're wondering to what extent it's beginner friendly, we need to dive in a bit deeper. Hi, it's your boy Red, here with another video on the topic of how beginner friendly is Final Fantasy XIV. Now, you already know the short answer, but let's see from the perspective of a gamer who has never played an MMO before. Well, actually, let's go even further and see from a perspective of someone who has never played any game before. And this is literally their first game ever. How will they feel when they first log in the game? Well, let's see. Right after you log in the game will show you the movements and help you configure which input device you prefer, mouse and keyboard or controller, and show you the basics of movement. And to make sure you understood the basic movements of the game will task you to go near an NPC. NPC refers to a non-player character. Once you do get the grasp of the basic movements, which you prove by going near the NPC, the first thing the game asks you to do is to accept a quest from the NPC, which teaches you how to interact with the world, or one of the ways to interact with the world. And then the game will teach you how to navigate the map and find your next objective. Now, if this was your first time ever playing a game, and this is how the game starts, how would you feel? I personally will feel very welcomed. And as you play more, you will be happy to find out the game continues to do so. What are the main cities, how to move between them, and the first time you go out, the game immediately teaches you about the combat, guiding you all the way to the dungeons and duty finders. There is an NPC the game will eventually introduce you to, named the Smith, who will give you the novice training, which is the very basic of tap targeting combat alongside basics of duty or dungeon runs and the duties of each role. Now, what if you're an introvert and you're anxious about talking to other people? Well, other MMOs might tell you shouldn't even be playing an MMO to begin with if you don't want to interact with other people, but not a Final Fantasy XIV. It's an entirely different topic and it deserves its own video, but the thing is, Final Fantasy XIV is an RPG MMO, not an MMORPG. But what it means is that it's a story-based game that exists in a MMO world where other people are present. Yes, you won't be experiencing everything the game has to offer if you play the game solo, but you will most definitely enjoy the core gameplay the game has to offer. And if you are worried about dungeons, don't worry, you will get the option to play with NPC as your party members if you truly don't want to interact with other people. But I will tell you this, Final Fantasy XIV community is very friendly and welcoming from my personal experience. If they see you are new, they will do everything to help you out, so don't worry about asking any questions or for help if you are in need. Oh, and speaking of the community, there is a chat channel in-game dedicated to help new players or returning players called the Novice Network, where up to 100 mentors who have played the game for a while and has achieved certain things, so they probably know a thing or two about the game to help new players, are active there with other 412 new players or returning players who can ask questions of any kind. If you don't know how to join, just ask someone with the mentor icon to invite you to the Novice Network. And even though trials and raids are considered in-game content, I personally think it's very easy to get into, as the game will offer you the normal version of the trial, then proving that yeah, you can handle the normal stuff. They will give you access to the next, a bit harder version of the trial, and once you do that, then the game gives you access to the hardest content it has to offer. And as I've said, the community being super new player friendly, you will have a lot easier time getting in. And as you have probably heard, the hardest content of these games are really hard. So you have to be in proper coordination with your party to be able to complete them. And I'm sure, like me, you will really appreciate the challenge. Alright now, after all the talk, if you're someone who haven't played Final Fantasy XIV yet, what do you think? Is that good enough beginner friendly to you? Or were you looking for a bit more? Or maybe a bit less? Make sure to let me know in the comments. And question to my fellow Final Fantasy XIV players who have been playing for a while or just started, what do you think about the question, how beginner friendly is Final Fantasy XIV? And what would you like for the game to do to be more beginner friendly? Also, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I would love to know all your opinions. Anyways, that is it from me for now. This is Red, and I am back from my break and excited to make more content for you guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed your time, like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. It helps it grow and motivates me to make more content like this. Until we meet again, keep gaming, gamers.